my name is Dorian, and I'm not from here, from Buffalo, so across the country. And I'm going to talk to you guys about
Buffalo, New York?
Yeah, Buffalo, New York.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to talk to you guys about self-publishing and get you started. So, in regards to self-publishing, I'm going to talk about my journey, and then hopefully I will emphasize the lessons, and you can receive that, take it, and so I started writing technically in high school. Right. I wrote, but it wasn't an idea for a book just yet. What I did was I wrote poetry in class. I saw that people liked it. So that's one lesson. When people like your stuff, really take advantage of that. Right. So I performed the poetry in class. It resonated with people. They took it on, and I found it something that really energized me to write more poetry. But I didn't have a use for it just yet. So as time went on, I read more and we had more classes, blah, blah, blah. I graduated high school. I got accepted into the college I wanted to be in. And I went to a mentor to kind of get an idea of what exactly I wanted to do after college. Right? I wanted to be a veterinarian. That was part of it. I also had interest in being a physical therapist and a mental counselor. But I chose a veterinary route, so the college I went to program ABEC, Animal Behavior, Ecology, and Conservation, with a minor in philosophy, which a lot of my writing is in. But anyway, so I met with a mentor. He told me 3 things. I want you to write down these 3 things. Like what you like. What is your passion? The constant thing you think about. It's always on your mind. And your purpose. Like what were you put on this earth to do? This thing your life is dedicated to. I didn't have a good idea for him. I was like, cologne. I really like smoking. So I'm like, I was a big cologne guy. Talk to him. It didn't really work. Okay, maybe clothing. I was like, it sounds a little hard at the age, 18. I was like, I didn't know too much. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna take this with me, leave, and I'm gonna brainstorm until I get to that point or what I want to do. So what I did was, I was on the train, heading back home. I was like, I like writing poetry. Like I'm good at it. People like it. And my passion is to help people kind of overcome their troubles. And the internal stuff that really causes a lot of pain, trauma, things like that. So I can do that through a book like that, poetry book. So like right then and there, like that was my kind of start to like doing the poetry, trying to get into something more. So since then I've worked at like adding more into the book, like more poetry, more diversity too. So what I did was I worked on it while I was in college. So this is an important note to make. Like be persistent. Work on your literature during your breaks. If you're at work, you have break time at work, work on your literature. You're in the bathroom, I don't care. Your transportation, you take public transportation, work on it there. Brainstorm. So on your breaks, work on your literature. And then I think time is a big thing that people come up with. With time, it's like, you're working here, you got this activity here, you got kids, you might be with them too. But really, like, when you have that free time, let that free time be a time to relax and really engage the work you want to do, that literature you want to put out. And you'll see that over time, it'll build on itself. And you'll have a lot more work done. And boom, before you know it, starting at 5 pages, you're at 50, then you're at 100. So work on your breaks. And I would say another lesson that was very valuable, and a lot of the things that like kind of intrude. So death is one of them. Clearly for them, you can't read. But if you have somebody, a loved one's a friend, I had my great grandmother. She passed away when I was junior in college, and I was working on a book, but I was also in school and working part time. So that was really rough for a period of time, and it was like it can intrude, like it can take you away from your progress, your goals. If you're really grieving, you're dealing with something hard, dealing with traumatic experiences. So for me anyway, with the work I was doing in my literature, it was poetry, clearly. So I turned the grief into more work towards my goal. So another lesson is to take your troubles and apply it to your work in some way. For me, it was poetry. If you're doing like a nonfiction history, something, you could probably work it in some way through writing, if you're history. Just like getting that stuff out, that's really important, but also making your private work. So as time went on, I was like, the book is much more developed. Another good lesson I had was I took a writing class. I forget the particular course it was, but it had spoken word on it in the class. I was already doing free verse poetry, and that was kind of it at the moment. So I took the class. I did the spoken word on it.
What is it?
Spoken word. Yeah.
Spoken
So it's
word.
poetry out loud. Right. So I've written that. I saw the class liked it again. So I took areas outside of my daily work, my extracurricular activities, and I applied it to the literature as well. So another lesson is take your work from outside, wherever that is, activities, your events, life experiences, and you apply it to the book as well. Take that literature and apply it in some way, shape, or form. So I added the spoken word elements to the book as well. So with everything comes to us, that performing expressions, facial expressions, how loud your voice is, the words, snap, all that stuff. And so I carried on. I went to a fatherhood conference. It's over in Buffalo. We're not to be a better father. Tips, men come together to really talk about their experiences, what helps, science behind it from doctors and so on. And we had a talk. It was like a panelist, sort of like the other room over. It was me and a few others. We talked about basically what makes a good man, but through the troubles. Like, amongst the troubles, how can you improve? How can you become better? So I told the story about how I had some trouble with the plumbing in the house. It was me, my mother, my brother, and made it to a pipe, popped, sewage all for the basement. It's not funny, it says. But I didn't have my father, at the time, someone to guide me through that experience. So it was a lot of rushing around, trying to figure things out, not knowing anything, but attempting to fix this problem. My mother had no idea, my brother had no idea, nor I. And eventually we decided to get a plumber and resolve the issue. So I told that story in that session, and that became a part of the book too. I decided to create short stories based off that one story that resonated with people. So I added in another wave elements of your life experiences put into the book. So I had free verse poetry, had spoken word, and now I had short stories in there. And don't be afraid to experiment with your book as well. So I never did haikus. I didn't even know what they were. So the Japanese poems and the structure of them. I decided to add those in as well. So I decided to play with it a bit and put it in there. And kind of see, I just wanted to experiment. What's the harm in being creative in your process? Willing to take a risk at something novel and really flying with it. I eventually decided, okay, I didn't decide. So there was a submission for a book. It's that one over there, Speak, it's the yellow one. And I put a submission into the program I'm in. 2 years later, I did it in 2022 or 2021 winter. I heard back from the person who was publishing it, and she was like, "It's done." She met with the group. It's like me and 16 other people that co-authored this book, and she was like, "You guys, we got this book coming out. It'll be published February 25th, 2022, and you'll all be authors." So she gave us the rundown of the copyrights, like what we can do to sell, all that, and I was like, the one thing I was missing, and this is another lesson, I didn't have a mentor. I was kind of just doing it to do it, but you really need a mentor. So take note of that too. Have that person in the background to teach you the process and help you get through so that you can accomplish your goals. So with this mentor, I was like, I'm working on it. And I don't know how to finish it exactly. I'm going through it, but it's like I didn't know what to do, where to go, search. But I'm like, I'm on my own. I don't know if I'm doing it right. So this person really helped me go through the process, taught me everything I needed to know, and I finished the book. Right, June 25th, we got done, and I published my first book, Thoughts of Creativity King, 114 Realities. So it's a poetry book, short stories, spoken word, and haiku. That's all in there. And some illustrations from an artist. Artist is mine, so she does tattoos, so I'm a tattoo shop. So the other lesson is, like, as you're going through, I forgot this part, but collaborate, work with people. That'd be the mentor. If you want your book to be much more unique, I had the drawings that she could do them. So I wanted to really make it something special. So collaborate, have mentors. So we can talk a little bit about the writing process. It's different for each book, but some common themes to help you get through to the finish line is really simple things. Work on your breaks, turning the pain and putting it into the literature. What makes the book unique is a lot of the personality and the different elements like humor, putting the emotion into it, like sadness and happiness and anger. I can get you to read something and really feel it in your heart. Probably shed a tear. If I can read something, really reflect on a happy memory and make you smile, then I've won, right? And like we both won. So you get a little bit of that. Making sure that you put your personality into the book, it'll be a lot easier to write, be much more enjoyable, a lot more fun, and you'll have the process done. Another element is, this is a little tidbit. So I took a cultural psychology class. And the class, it encompassed a lot of differences between cultures, especially since we're talking about the world. And he talked about like transportation somewhat. So, who drives? You drive? Yeah. Which is good. I'm not knocking you, but I'm gonna. So, as you're driving, who's in the car? Probably just you if you're not taking with kids or anything like that, or your spouse, whoever that may be. So it's just you. You're going to work, back and forth, as you should. You're getting there on time, as you should. You move the way you want to. Take pride in it. But the missing element for driving, especially being by yourself, that's a lot of time back and forth and going to wherever you need to be. So some of the problem could be with connecting with the world around you, especially if you're isolated in the room. I mean, you think about you at work, you guys socialize there, you go home, but what about the community in between when you go from work and home? So I connect that to say, in your literature, it can be so much more spruced up. Life experiences from the birds you see outside and the plants you see and the beautiful mountains. I've never been to Denver. This is lovely. It's awesome. Never been to Colorado. Boulder in particular, you got good view. But the sense of community is missing, especially when you want to enhance your writing, when you want to be involved, and it can bring different elements out. So it shape the work that you put into it. So a lot of creativity the short stories came from a lot of the personal experiences I had in life. Simply walking down the street, don't mean to be too political, but I do high-tech taekwondo, this is martial art. I wear a dobak and gi and all that. So I'm walking there back and forth from home. And it would be funny because I get people that would, they would try to be funny, they would try to bow and they would salute, or I would get stopped sometimes. People pull over the car. He'd be like, "Hey, you do martial arts?" "Yeah, my dad used to do kung fu and I used to do karate when I was younger." And it would just be a whole 5-minute conversation. So those little things, when you're in the car, when you don't have the opportunity to just engage people and interact and bring in those life experiences, that can enrich your literature, that can enrich your life and anybody, really. So I said, so one of the stories in there had to do with that experience. When I wear the dobak, I get all this positive praise, talks. There's many tidbits of meeting somebody that really make you happy, really enrich you. Those small conversations that make your day. You know what I mean? And when I'm wearing a hoodie or some jeans, some joggers, I don't get the same looks. I don't get the same treatment. And sometimes that doesn't even matter. So it's probably at home, but it might have been school. I don't remember. So what I did was I walked from class. There was a woman standing at her door. She was opening it. I think she was getting some mail or something. I'm walking back, and I had some food in my bowl. So I'm eating fast. I'm hungry. I'm like scraping the bowl. You know what I mean? She sees me walk, and then she like turns. She looks kind of like fearful almost, and shuts the door. So it's a little tidbit about how I'm perceived based on who I am in the society we live in, but also what clothes we wear and how that affects the way we're perceived and how we're treated. So it can also be educational when you have these experiences, when you're in the community, walking, engaged, being around, observing your surroundings, engaging people. That goes as far as thinking. So I want to go into a little bit of like you guys, if you're interested in authorship or something that you may venture into, you never know. You're not interested. Like let's get into some big ideas. So you can brainstorm for about a minute, or if you're ready now, you can tell me. If you're gonna create a book, or if you have created books, like what is this big idea gonna be about? And actually I may talk about this. So the big idea you've got. So this thing that you're probably gonna solve, what you want to write about, what you really like, but that tailors towards the market, but solvable. So you guys are gonna move over. You guys can talk to each other and kind of engage that for a little while. We'll put 5 minutes into it.
I'm Renga. Used to cook a lot more food. Take pride and delight in doing that. Now everything is instant. Everything is DoorDash. You can order from whatever restaurant you want.
Channeling that energy to, write a book about her experience and her journey with that. And I was really heavily inspired by that, and so I kind of decided to put my efforts towards writing poetry that, somewhat similar vein.
Nice.
That's fine. I've been working professionally on it for like a year, so I've already typed all this out to like the honors committee and stuff. So that's great.
We're talking about big ideas.
Yeah, like your big idea. If you were to write a book, tailoring towards what you like to write about, or your style. And when we talk about style, we talk about poetry. Could it be short stories, nonfiction essays? Would it be anything you can think of? Dialogues.
Yeah. I guess I've been doing a little bit of writing, or I had been up until like a year ago on Medium, just discussing like my personal experiences with trying to be more sustainable. But it really felt like just shouting into the void. So I'm not sure.
So when you say Medium, so you have to sign up for a program or something, right? With Medium?
Yeah, it's a website where people can share their writing.
I've read the articles on Medium, but
Yeah.
how do you become a writer on Medium?
You just make an account. Yeah, anyone can do it. So that's what kind of drew me in. Is like
And then you create an account, you can start writing. Isn't there like a subscription or something?
you can, but you don't have to pay to publish.
Oh,
Yeah, so you could like write something that really resonates with people, and hundreds of people or thousands of people could find it and share it and comment.
okay.
Yeah. And I think it was a little isolating to write like that and share it on Medium, because it was just like, very few, if any, comments to like discuss these issues. So
And people give you feedback, comments, and so on.
yeah. But yeah, time
Have you ever looked on Submittable?
is I've not.
It's basically like a platform for submitting, writing pieces out to publications, so like literary magazines, journals. The journal I work on, we basically use Submittable as our portal for receiving submissions.
Oh, that's so cool.
So you should check it out. People post things all the time about like what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Poetry, prose, creative nonfiction, fiction, nonfiction, I mean, there's everything on it. So.
That's super cool. Okay, I'll check it out.
So Brody, one of the things I was thinking as we were discussing is there are other books and other people with similar ideas and have written about it. So how do you find your niche or your differentiator? Do you have some tips on that? Because
Be yourself.
Sorry?
Be yourself. As generic as that sounds, be yourself. Like, what makes the difference between books is like the person writing. Like, there's probably a million books on poetry, but there's only one book like that. You know what I mean? So be yourself. And what I like about other people's work is that you read it and get inspiration from it. For me, it's like some of it comes from music. I hear a song, it sparks ideas, it gives me ideas, and it gives me things to work with so that I can put my own unique spin on the topic or approach to things like that. So I hope that helps. And definitely finding journals to put your work through, and you get recognized for that. Hopefully, somebody reaching out to you, like someone did for me. You know what I mean? So another thing that came up was really good, but yeah, definitely be yourself. Put your own spin on it, your own work, and don't be afraid to really cut against the grain a bit. Like conversations you need. That's a dialogue-based book. It has like quotes in between, and basically it's it's that community thing I was talking about. Those conversations. So it's really a book of conversations, but with educational aspects to it, and there are quotes in between that I just kind of bring slump into it. So they're all different in their own way. Dialogue-based book, Speak, compilation of people's work, 16 around the country, including myself. There's a lot of artwork, poetry, essays, illustrations, things like that. Creativity King again, there's like the poetry, spoken word, haikus, short stories, and illustrations I got from Wisdom 45 Advice. About 2 illustrations from a local artist. She's doing awesome right now, by the way. Her name is Julie. It has some poetry in it. Haikus is a free verse, and there's like a standardized stanza. And the rest of it is essay-based topics like vulnerability. There's like reflection, like casual reflection, how that can help you. There's money. I talk about communication and martial arts. So I take the life experiences I have and the worlds I'm engaged in, and I try to match them so that they can be educational for somebody else. Very so for me, it's a lot of like, not a lot of research or anything like that, but like the work in the world that I'm engaged in, how can I put that into it so that I can help somebody else. And that's my goal for what I do.
You also talked about self-publishing. Could you say something about that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a wonderful goal. So, if you don't know, find somebody or do some research. I mean, I'm ready, obviously, so you had me. But do your own research. Go to bookstores. Go to libraries, wherever that may be. Look at the particular books that you like. And I'm not saying mimic them, but look at the structure and the contents of the book. The about author section, the dedication if you want one, the foreword if you want one. Some people are a little about that. The table of contents. Look at the book, study it. Do you want chapters or you don't want chapters? I don't have chapters in any of them. I'm not really a chapter guy because I don't like having sequential reading.
Oh,
Like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like you can look at it, pick a chapter or pick a area or topic. I want to read about communication. You skip to page 56, as opposed to going on it whatever. So I think that also makes it interesting for me anyway, because it's not necessarily you have to do this set path for you. You choose your own way. You can find your own thing about it. So there's a little bit of digging the reader has to do, and I think it also makes it interesting for the people that want to engage in it. So for me, anyway, that's so there's development things too. I have another one being published. I don't think I'm plugging. I'm trying to teach, but I have another one. It's called "Don't Be a Cactus." So it's an interpersonal relationship book. And before I go into it, I want to help you understand the diversity. One's poetry and essay based. One's strictly dialogues and quotes, and another one is a compilation of stuff from poetry essays. So don't be afraid to branch out and try new things. Make mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes. I made a ton of them. I had to re-keep, editing and all that stuff. Because I didn't realize, the importance of a proofreader. Look over the editor, going over that too. And then page setup, because that correlated with the cover size and so on. So diversify, be creative. That's my thing. You can take a different approach. Don't have to follow what I say. Question me. I do what I do, but you take your own route. So,
What are some of the
So
ways
study-
to get books that published, like what are the, depending on the cost, I guess, cost of certain amounts, gives them.
It depends on the book. So it depends on the length of the book, how many pages you get. It depends on editor you get, what's the cost of that. Proofreader, what's the cost of that.
Sorry?
There's no set count for you gotta pay different people for different things.
Right.
Or you can do it on your own, but you gotta pay for software and services. And even then, are you a pro at all these things? So find people and the mentor, this person.
Right.
I have some resources I can give. We can talk about that. I have a self-publishing one-time session, but you have everything you need. It costs, but it's cheaper, just as much as Amazon would be. You don't have this interpersonal connection with it, whatever.
And which was that one? Cheaper than Amazon?
Barnes and Noble, Amazon, you're talking like self-publishing. So what I do is I help you become self-sufficient, like what I do with my books. And you'll know how to do the layout format, teach you how to copyright. You'll learn what goes into a really good cover design. Or we'll say this, which book is most appealing to you?
From the cover, you mean?
Yeah, just the cover.
I would say speed.
Speak. What do you think?
Also says,
What do you think?
I can't totally see, but I think the thoughts one.
Thoughts of creativity.
Because,
What do you see?
The speed caught my eye first, but the plants on the conversations you need is kind of interesting as well.
So you want your book to, you see speaking, you see this kid yelling on it, right? So does the cover tell what the book is about? Is it attractive? Right. One thing I didn't do on mine in particular was a subtitle. The title kind of tells you what's inside of it, so should the cover. The subtitle tells you what the book is about. So if I say about creativity, one of the 14 realities, it's like it's a poetry book. I didn't put that in necessarily, but short stories and things like that. So really engage in that too. Look at the books, the ones that are performing well. Look at different ones, see how they're structured. The contents, the structure again, the covers. What exactly is it that catches your eye? And then go for that. Not necessarily copy, but your own unique spin on it,
Right.
your own unique approach, and how you want to present. But that is my. I'm not sure about time. Okay, we got 5 minutes left, so you can have a discussion if you'd like. So I'm selling Creativity Came to Speak for card. Well, depending on what you do. So if you're using card, $15.75. Just because the card is extra charge on it. Cash App, $15 for both. Cash, $15 for both.
Can I ask how long ago you first self-published a book?
2022.
Oh,
I was 21 at the time. Yeah, 2022. Creativity King, I was 18 when I started it over the course of college, and I finished it senior year. So that became, that's my baby. It's my first one. So that was February. No, well, okay. So technically, I self-published my first one in June 2022. February 2022, I had Speak officially published. So that was when I co-authored. The one I published was Creativity Came.
Oh, okay, gotcha. That's so cool.
Did you put Speak together? Did you read
So you see on the spine, Alberta Linkins, she's the one that put that together. And she's the person I went to learn everything I need to know. So she did that, and I connected with her, learned some stuff, put it together. So there's a lot to it.
Let me
Yeah,
hear,
oh, yeah.
Dorian, thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Oh, yeah, thank you. So you're ready to go. I'm there for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Bro.
Oh, okay.
Collaboration is important, make connections.
Thank you.
It's always good. Anything else you'd like to know? Here for heard you take some business cards. Hope you enjoyed the session.
Yes.
Thank you.
Did you do the designs yourself, like for the covers?
Creativity came, no, but I had some input for it. Conversations you need, yeah. And Wisdom 45 advice, yes. There are some tweaks. If I could go back in time, there would be something that I changed. But for this next one, stop changes. That's what I hope you enjoyed the music. I thought about it really
very
for a
nice
long
and
time.
calm.
Yeah, it's super nice.
Sit and sleep.
I really like ambient stuff. I actually listen to ambient kind of stuff when I write sometimes. It's relaxing.
All right, I got a mindfulness session after this, so if you want to stay, you're more than welcome to.